Don't give people everything away.
Don't tell them everything, right?
Don't give
We
that
are
away.
we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Love, Death, and Taxes. Hi, Agnes.
Hi Ryan, how you doing?
I am well, thanks. I'm Ryan O'Neill Williams. My co-host is again uh, Agnes Amisano, tax consultant and wedding officiant and bereavement coach. All of that. We are. It's a Friday. It's a Friday. It's been a hectic week.
Friday.
How Friday? How was your week?
Busy, busy.
Yeah,
Tax
yeah,
season, all the preparations. I'm very
exactly.
happy with the progress of my work. I'm
Okay, good.
submitting another offering compromise Monday. I'm dealing with some paperwork still, and yeah, so it's a lot.
Tell
Organizing receipts, things like that. So
It's amazing, and I'm having a similar thing, but not for the same reason. From a marketing perspective, uh, in about 15, no, like 18 days, we're going to be in Valentine's Day, and so for us, that is a big, for my, at least for my commercial slash the clients who do very small items, who sell a lot of small items. It's important. So
of
my
course.
wine shop and the flower shop and the pizza shop and places like those, they're looking to get a lot more done this particular time. So it ends up being that way. But not necessarily the stuff that we want to talk about. I mean, we can talk about an offer and compromise because you just dropped that and didn't actually, explain. You know what I mean?
Well,
And I was like, oh snap! She said offer and compromise. And as a former accountant and as your current marketing person, I hear it and I'm like, oh no, we need to talk about that so that people actually know what that means. If you had to get an offer and compromise, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of stuff happening with you. But just so you understand what it is that we do here, uh,
this is
um,
everyday thing for me. So that's why I
it
just like,
is.
oh yeah, I'm doing this
I
and this.
know.
That's
I
like,
get
okay,
it. I get it.
okay.
But let's tell people what this show is actually about. All right. All right. Every now and then I see that and I'm like, oh, it's coming up really well now, isn't it? Look at that. All right. Um, so, what exactly is an offer in compromise?
Okay. So when anyone finds themselves in a situation where they own a lot of money to the government, either IRS or New
Mhm.
York State, and it's over the budget and it's going to really hurt them paying the full amount,
Mhm.
we are proposing, giving a proposal to the government agency saying that, okay, I can pay that much. Could you please, another way, let me go if I pay you that much or this much, and then we go further. Of course, it's a lot of work involved because there, you have to prove that situation. Bank statements, depending which agency we're dealing with. Either IRS is 6 months bank statements, New York State 12 months statements, credit reports, applications, different varieties, and there's a tax returns, and then you have to write a statement why your client is not able to do that, and you have to prove that. So it's lengthy process, a lot of paperwork. I enjoy doing that because it's very helpful. It's a giving a taxpayer a new start. You
Okay,
know,
good,
it's giving
good,
them new
good.
start. I was quite successful in obtaining that, maybe because I'm a small business. And on a couple occasions, I when I was actually hired by bigger um, accounting firms as a just as a hired gun, and to help out with those kind of situations, because not every accountant wants to deal with lengthy process, because it might take a year and a half before you get
Yeah,
the answer, and
right.
it's a lot of paperwork. I mean, really, to New York State, I'm sending 2 inches of paperwork,
Wow.
and to IRS, it's 1 inch thick envelopes. So it's a lot to go through. But like I said, I enjoy it, and it's what. But like I was saying, I'm running away with my thoughts. IRS will ask me like if your client can pay your firm your fees because you are a big business, they can pay us.
They
You
can
know,
pay
maybe because I'm a small business, maybe I'm a little bit more successful in obtaining those offers.
Right, right.
Actually,
So you fly under the radar almost. So
not really
that's
under the radar, but they know that I'm not going to ask for the fees, um, like not in this amount, like big accounting firm will ask for thousands and thousands of
right,
dollars,
right,
where my fee will be a fraction of theirs.
right, right. So the assumption is that if they can pay the accounting, a big accounting firm, those tens of thousands of dollars to help them with their situation, then they should also be able to pay the
Yeah,
IRS all their money. So okay, so when
I
they
can see
see,
logic.
so when they
Unfortunately, I did. Yeah,
So when they see Agnes the tax pro, then we're like, oh, okay, well, they went with an independent. What happens when you get too big for them to deal with? Is that the same situation? You're going to be in the same situation, huh?
we shall talk when we get there. We
That's
shall
right.
talk when we get there. Yeah.
All right, very well, very well. So that's what's going on right there. And so yeah, right before we got on, ladies and gents, we were talking about perceptions and how people see things in a different way. And I was specifically talking about how I changed my behavior. How do I say this without getting into all kinds of problems? I changed my behavior on a particular, with a particular, I was going to a yoga class and I did not want to go to the yoga class anymore simply because I had an encounter with a person there who basically thought I was, they had placed a certain kind of perception on me and another person because they just assumed that she and her friends had just assumed that me and that person were involved. And I felt so uncomfortable because every time I'd go to the class, I'd have, this weird thing like that was not something that was happening. And it just felt weird that that person was constantly like nudging me about that. And I regret that I changed my behavior in order to get away from their perception of a situation that actually didn't happen. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying?
Ryan,
Yeah.
did you
There's a guy.
smile? Did you smile and talk nice and laugh and joke? Did you do
That's
that? Tell me
that's
honestly.
who I am. That's who I am. I'm always laughing, smiling, and talking. It's almost always. And the other thing I do is I pay attention to the person. Like yesterday, a mutual friend of ours was at a networking event, and right in, I walked in, I shook his hand, his or her hand, and then I said, "How are you doing?" And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, what's that?" Blah blah blah, because it looked like they had hurt. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'm always attentive to people and I'm paying attention to their emotions and sometimes maybe too much. Like I'll absorb some stuff. But what I'm saying to you is I allowed that perception of that person to affect me and change my behavior. I think I want to talk about that today. What do you think? What
you
do you
know
think?
what? You know what? I would love to talk about it because, first of all, I just had this conversation yesterday with one of my sisters.
Really?
I was actually laughing at the response of one of my male friends.
Hmm.
I was asking about um, if he was going to stay over at the hotel, and he goes, "Oh, he's afraid. He doesn't want to tempt the fate." And I was like, "What
I
tempt
mean,
the fate? I mean, like, you're just
tempt
coming, It's like,
tempt fate
um,
of what?
I said, I didn't want to ask, but I said, "Don't worry, I'll protect you." If
Mm.
someone wants to bite, maybe they would just nibble because you know me with my jokes. And and then I said, I'll personally escort you to your room so no one will bother you. Then my
No one.
sister thought that this is me starting something. And I said, like, I was laughing. I was laughing my, you know what, off at, at his response. And then
Okay.
this whole conversation started even with my husband and my other friends I was speaking to yesterday, because I am coming from a very small town where everyone knew everybody
Right.
and they talked about themselves. I'm from the era where if someone, a strange older lady will see you as a teenager with the smoke in your face, she will come take the smoke away, struck you in the face, curse you out, and send you home to your mother. And
Right.
you know,
Right. Right.
like that. So
Yeah. Number one, that's definitely a non-American experience.
no, no.
Okay,
That
because that is something that would happen in Jamaica too. Like
yeah,
the village is raising you. It's not just these
yes,
people.
it takes a village. It literally
Right.
takes a village. So everyone
Right.
was looking out after everybody, but they also were very aware of certain conduct. You know that what you're supposed to do. If you were out up there in
Mhm.
with you were very rich,
Mhm.
they were expecting you. Okay, you can do certain things because you can afford it. You can behave certain way because okay that was acceptable because you had money. When
Mhm.
you were up here, oh you have to stay here. I raised my child with, guess what, sky's the limit and then beyond. Do whatever you want, you can, whatever you desire you can obtain. Where I was raised with limitations,
Right.
totally because of our financial status. And see, I was always different. I was destined to leave that country because I never thought that this is the right way. So um and
If
there's
you
there's
read enough books, I feel like if you read enough books or get exposed to enough things, all of a sudden, yeah, you have this whole. How do I put this? When I was 19, I still thought I was destined to be exactly like my father. I thought I was told I look like him. I was told I sound like him. I was told that more than likely, and I thought fate was like a thing and you had to do it. And eventually I got to the point where I realized that no, you don't. You don't have to do exactly what your genetics is telling you or what
no,
your family has told you or even your society has told you. You can decide to go a completely different way and do that instead. Now,
yeah.
I'm not talking about being
I,
becoming a
I do
criminal.
I do appreciate the way I was raised because I was
Yeah.
prepared for situations which at certain point I could encounter or I did encounter, so I knew I was prepared. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do now? No, I was like, okay, I assess the situation. Oh, okay, I know what to do. You know,
Right. Right.
a lot of people doesn't have that preparation. Women at my
No.
age find themselves in certain situation and they're lost. Where I was already prepared, so I appreciate my upbringing, but doesn't mean I have to take everything what I was taught.
That's really the thing, right? You don't have to take everything that has been given to you.
Exactly.
Take some of the stuff. The truth is, discipline, the ability to wait, and like I see a lot of people drink, and this is a minor thing, but I see a lot of people drink while they eat. I eat all my food, vegetables first, then my rice, and then my meat, because that's how I enjoy the food. Like I enjoy the stuff that I enjoy, I have last,
Now I'm
and
gonna watch
then
you.
I drink. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then I'll have dessert. That's just who I
Yeah.
am. Like, and that is a simple thing. It's called delayed gratification. And I was raised that way. And I think that's a great thing. But at the same time, there are people in my family who think money is a bad thing. And I'm like, no, no, no. Money's not bad. It's what you do with your money
They
that's
can
bad.
give
Or
it to me if they
how,
want
yeah, yeah. Give it to you. Exactly, exactly. You don't want the
I will
money?
give them good
Agnes is
news.
ready to take it. Yeah. And the government will take it too. So if
Yeah,
you want to
yeah,
mess around in taxes, you got that taken as well.
yeah.
All right.
But coming back to our upbringing, so yes, it
Mhm.
was always as we summarize, there was like, okay, I would do this or that, but what people will say.
Right.
People are always entitled to their own opinions. Every one
Yeah.
of us is entitled to their own opinions. It's a freedom of speech, no matter where you are.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I'm going to listen and do as I'm told. My
Right.
motto, which I'm preaching to everybody, is I pay my
Okay.
mortgage, you don't feed me, you don't clothe me, you don't pay my bills. You don't like the way I live? Go the other way.
I'm so sorry.
And with all due respect, everyone talks. They feel, maybe sometimes people feel like they have to give their opinions to make themselves feel better. At
I
times they have
think
to.
I think a
Sometimes
lot
they.
of people. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sometimes.
Sometimes, especially when it comes to the situation like you find yourself in,
Mhm.
maybe women think that, oh, you like him, so maybe I'll give him a little nudge. So maybe you heard something to give you something to think about, to maybe give you that little nudge to go certain way and pursue that particular person. You never know.
Maybe, but I don't think that was what it was because the person was like, um, I used to do selfies with different business owners in the local area. And when I went to do a selfie with that person, after it was taken and they looked at it, and we looked good together. It was a great selfie. It looked great. The person was like, "Oh, I don't think we should do that. We shouldn't put that up," because she was married, right? So she
Yeah.
thought, that it was going to be like a weird thing again because she's putting that on it as opposed to just treating it like you said. Sometimes you talk to men in business and right away they think for whatever reason that because you smiled at them and said thank you or whatever, that you're coming on to them. Or the way I get it sometimes is I'll be walking down the street and girls, like, you can see them stiffen up and like put a scowl on their face because they think I'm gonna like catcall them or whatever it is, So it's people's perception that puts it in that way.
What
And
streets are you walking?
Are you trying to go there? You trying to go?
No. It's like, but I never, honestly, God, I never walked anywhere and expect that someone's going to call out or whatever. It's like,
I guess it depends. Like if you're in New York City, that happens all the time. Like women will walk down the street and like a guy will say, "Hey, sexy," or "Hey, beautiful," or whatever it is. That sort of thing. But personally, I walk in the mornings because it's how I get my exercise. And in the morning, sometimes I'm past a woman. Most of the time, it's guys who are out there. But every now and then you'll pass a woman, and they're like they stiffen up. But not all of them, but some of them. They stiffen up, and
how
they
are you
go,
looking at them?
I'm not looking. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like because of that, I'm listening to my headphones and I'm
Uh-huh.
just looking forward ahead. And sometimes I have on the cap and I'll pull the cap. Well, maybe that's a bad thing. Pulling the cap down. Like I don't want you to see who I am.
So
Maybe
maybe
that's what
that's
it
why
is.
they.
But what I try to do is just I'm not changing the way I walk. I'm not changing anything, and I go to the inside so that they can have the
Oh,
outside to run out into the street if to run away, but I'm focused. I'm doing a walk. All right. I walk, I work out, I try to eat the warrior diet, right? That's what I'm doing right now. And so it's like a weird thing where their perception is because maybe they've seen someone like me, or maybe this is the experience they've had in the past, or whatever it is, that they're going to have the same
I think
experience
you're a
again.
little bit too sensitive.
Me, you have to see them when they still.
Hold on.
Agnes.
You are too sensitive because you've been off the market for too long. I have been talking.
Oh.
I have been talking recently to a lady my age, and she's thinking about going on the market to start looking. And then, we're
Mhm.
talking. I said, okay, so go out somewhere. Oh no, she's not gonna go to the bar and all that. Oh, okay, so go on the
Okay.
website and like fine, go on the website. This way everyone knows what are we looking for, right? You're looking for
Mm.
this, you're looking for that. This is me, this is the type of person I'm looking for. And then and she goes, well, I'm not going to sleep with him. And I was like, who was talking about sleeping?
Nobody asked you that. Nobody said anything about that.
Yeah, so
See, you're putting your perception of what she is on me. Last night, I was at a bar doing networking. There were attractive women there. We talked, we flirted, we did whatever it is. Uh, They had no problem because I was in a specific setting where they kind of
yeah.
felt like this guy definitely is here for business, right? But I think you're out on the street and people just, they don't know. You know what I mean? They don't know
But when
what
you
to
are at the
expect.
when you're at networking event, it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, you know what you are there for.
Yeah,
You are
yeah, exactly.
representing your business, your profession, you smile, you talk, you have a drink, and then you discuss business. This is not personal. When you're going on speed dates or on the single meetings, you know exactly what you are there for.
Yeah, yeah. I hope
Smile.
so. You better know. If you think you're there to get business, that's a mistake. It's not that kind of business.
I have to tell you, I have to share this with you.
Okay.
Years and years and years ago, oh
Yeah.
my God, decades ago, I was young and cute and everything and single.
Oh,
And
how dare you? You're still young and cute. Go ahead.
hey, of course I am. That was your way to give me a compliment. Yes, I
Hey,
paved the
it
way.
is
I
what
paved the way.
it
But
is.
anyhow, this so where I'm at the um, dance.
Mm,
Um, there was actually a Polish dance. It was Sunday, so we're sitting, and this a little bit older gentleman sits behind me, and he compliments my back. And I guess I was wearing something exposing a bit of my back. And then my back must have been looking really good because he came up with a proposal that he's got a business. He went straight to business. He was a baker, and he told me about his assets. The only problem was if his mother will accept. That was
what?
because he told me his
I don't know what you just said. Wait. Let's get this right.
I can't. This is too funny.
The guy sees your back. He's a
Yes,
baker. He wants
yeah.
to bake things on your back. What?
No, maybe that's what it was.
It's like you've got the sexiest back. I have to bake a bunch of croissant on right now.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm crying. No, he said he gave me a proposal of a relationship proposal.
An indecent proposal.
No, no, no. That was
Okay.
very decent because he
It
got
was
a
very
lot of
decent. Oh, excuse me. All right.
no, 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 no. That was straight
Okay.
like, okay, I like your back. Will you be my wife? I have house, I have bakery. No, no.
Snap.
It's just the
So,
problem is my
ladies,
mother.
here are the things that you need to learn from this episode right away. You must expose your back.
You must. You must.
Number two, the guy should not live with his mom. Okay, bakers especially. So wait. So the mom worked in the bakery with him. Is that what it
I didn't go that far. I just ran as far as I could.
was? You ran. And then, ladies, if he has both of those things, he loves backs, he's a baker, and he works with his mom, the idea is run,
Run,
run.
run very fast.
Now, here's the thing. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. a lot of people would have taken them up on that, right? There are lots of people who would have been like, well, he's got a business, he's financially sound, he's a family person.
Family person, yes.
Yeah. This is how you
Hmm.
this is how you you make the resume look a little bit better,
In
right?
what area your bakery is located? Is it a high traffic? How much does it?
All right. So he's serious. Okay. But yeah, again, perception. I mean, what do you do
The
with it? What do
perception
you do
is
with
if the lady smiles or a girl smiles at you, doesn't mean she likes you. She might just walk and I like to smile at some people when you're passing people on the street.
it? Of course.
Um,
Of course.
you see us sometimes a lot of people that they are either in their own world or they're
Mhm.
sad. So when someone looks at you, I like to smile at that person
Of
because there,
course.
there was certain experiment, I think in Canada, and they're saying that people walk and when someone smiles at them, you make them feel better, and if that person smiles to another person, then you just spreading the joy.
You could literally change a bunch of people's lives
Yes,
by
yes,
smiling at them, being nice, having
yes,
fun on a podcast, laughing, chit chatting,
yeah.
having a good time, as opposed to mean mugging. That
I'm
whole
still crying from that thing.
no, Baker is funny.
Oh, oh, yeah. But
But
yeah,
perception is a big deal, man.
it is.
It's
It
how
is.
people see you and think about you like all the time. And then I every time I see that person now, that's where I'm stuck. I'm kind of stuck with that person. Every time I see them, that's what I think about. It's like why did she think that was a thing and then was even uncomfortable for her own? Which I get that, right? If you're a married person, right, and you feel like there's a person out there who I don't know, who you might actually be a little bit attracted to. You don't want to have like a selfie of you and them going around online, right? I get that. Um, but that wasn't, you know what I mean? It was business. But I get, so this
Okay,
whole social,
maybe that particular person had bad experience. Either maybe her husband had situation like that and she was looking into something. You remember, like you see my
her
husband,
perception,
yes,
shaped by her own
her
behavior. Go
own
ahead. Let me see.
experience. Yeah,
Yeah,
like i- in a relationship, you cannot be with someone that you can always walk, but you constantly look behind your back what that person is doing. If there is lack of trust, there is no relationship. So we already know that. Okay. That's when people don't trust each other. That's why people are very careful what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're behaving. So their spouse would not say something or thinks about something. Like I can have open conversation about everything and anything in front of my husband, and he knows, or I'm telling him, honey, would you come with me to the bar? I'm going to the meeting. No, no, honey, go have fun. Okay, well, he will wait up, make sure that everything is great. It's not his cup of tea, so I'm going by myself, but he has no problem with that just because we trust each other. If he wants to go somewhere, he's going somewhere. I don't have to question him. It's like, okay, go have fun. But then we are mature people and we approach relationship from different point of view than a lot of other people, so that's another thing.
yeah.
But there's another question that I want to ask you. Why so important to you that you care what that person thinks? Who cares?
It. I think sometimes it makes you uncomfortable. It's not so much that I guess I do care. It bothered me that that person thought over and over again, and I'm trying not to blow the whole spot up, right? Um, they were in a position of authority in the yoga class, and as a result, I didn't want them to put me on blast, as it were, for something that wasn't even real. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and so, yes, I cared only because it was possible that the rest of the class could care. This was a very interactive class. Like they reached out
Mhm.
and talked to you. I don't know if you've ever done Peloton, but they really talk to you and reach out to you. It's like the same
Yep.
kind of thing, but we are in physical, in person. And then so, it's a weird thing. Like now I'm this, gigolo or something. I didn't like the idea of that. You're laughing. I couldn't be a gigolo? Is that what you're saying? Is that
No.
what you're saying? I couldn't be a gigolo?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, no,
Are you laughing?
no. See, it's like I I just don't care. What
I know, I know, I know.
majority of the time when people say something, why it's not like I don't care at all, but
Mhm.
I care about people that are important to me.
Right.
What my husband thinks of me, it's important to me. What my son thinks of me, it's important to me.
Good.
Um, you know, um, everybody else they have to take it or leave it. Maybe I'm too
But
arrogant, maybe I'm ignorant, but
no,
it's
no. But think
I,
about that.
I just
You
live
do
my
care about
life.
somebody's perception, just not like every random Tom, Dick, and Harry or Mary Beth and Sue, right? You care about just the really people who are important to you. You care about their perception and how they see you. So yeah, I mean, that's there, right? You do actually care about them. So that works out. Now, we should all care about what our husband and wife thinks about us, right? Oh, and by the way, you made that suggestion for me to go and watch The White Lotus,
Oh
and
my God,
it's
I start
all this
watching it.
kind of stuff. Have you started watching it yet?
I'm on the second season now. I started
Oh,
second season. Oh my God, it's so messed up.
it is so messed up. I couldn't even stop. I watched both seasons. I ate them up. I just swallowed for 2 days. I was just like this, and and watch the whole thing. It's great. We should do a show just on that because it was so messed up. But if you're in season two, there is a dynamic happening between husbands and wives that is clearly like a whole other thing that's happening as well. I mean, there was a dynamic happening by the husband and wife in the first one, but it was
Yeah,
more, yeah, it was more about her being wealthy and him being, it was about gender roles.
yeah.
But now this one is more about infidelity and trust, right? You're going to see, I don't want to mess up the show for you, but it was really cool. I think it was a good show. I think it brings in everything that is happening. Perception is really important because it's what people think they see versus what actually happens and what is going on. And then sometimes they're not wrong. You know what I mean? And you take a double take because you're trying not to, but wow, fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
Um, Friend of mine,
Mhm.
when they split up and the husband moved out, he was always very nice to the neighbors. He waved hello, hello. When he left, people and then she started dating. Oh, the neighbors start talking. But that's the whole thing. They never knew what's behind the closed doors. They never
Okay,
knew the situations, but they all start talking and make her feel uncomfortable for several months, giving her looks, talk, and things like that.
yeah, yeah.
Although they didn't
It's
know what was going on behind the closed doors, like, oh my God, it must be her because she's with this guy and all that. Where,
so cool.
you know,
It's so
uh,
funny because after my wife left the house, like about a year, 2 years in, one of my cousins was like, "Hey, uh, let me come hang out with you for a while." And she's older than me; she's like 20 years my senior. And she came to the house, and yes, there were people who were running their mouths. I was like, "It's my cousin, dude, from Jamaica. She came to like help me watch the kids so that I could actually get business done and whatever." It was so funny. But you literally, if you looked at a picture of us, you would be able to see these two people have the same grandmother. What the heck is wrong with you? But it's again, people run their mouth and don't know
Perception,
what's going on.
perception, perception. No one knows what's going on in your life. No one knows what you're doing. No one knows why you're making decisions, but they perceive certain way. They talk, they think. That's their problem. Why would you make that your problem? Thank God that my
Yeah.
girlfriend was strong enough to say, you know what? I'm going on with my life. You don't not know.
Mhm.
She did not have to explain. She didn't feel like she had to explain herself to them.
No,
No
no, you
one
don't.
approached her
It's
with questions. You have questions, come up and ask. If you don't, then go your way.
about your
And guess what?
business.
With
Yeah.
time, everything smooth out and she's happy and everything. But again, at the beginning, it bothered her. But then I talked to her and it's like, do you really care? They have no value. Their opinion have no value. Think
It
about it.
doesn't matter.
Who
Yeah.
talks? If you really care about the person, what they think, take them aside, talk to them, clear the air. Everybody
Right.
else, who
Who
cares?
really cares? Yeah, who really cares? It's interesting because I've done a lot of work on this guy in the last 6 years, and that is one of the things that's like really important to me, to not pay attention to other people, because I was a people pleaser. I really wanted my family and my wife and my extended family and my friends and whatever to think of me as being successful and not making mistakes. In fact, most people, when they heard that we broke up, were like, "What?" Because they couldn't believe this guy was always perfect to them. They, from outside, they saw me as
Mhm.
perfect. So it's a very interesting thing. Where, yeah, in the last 6 years or so, I've just been like, listen, it's not important what the other people think if you can figure out exactly what you want and set those goals and move forward from there. So it's 36 minutes in. I have so much a great time talking to you. We try to make this show about 20 minutes. That's never going to happen.
Never happens.
I don't think that's ever going to
Sorry,
happen.
that train left the station.
Yeah, you're just going to have to chill out with us for a little while. Ladies and gents, again, my name is Ryan O'Neill Williams. I am a digital marketing consultant and my co-host. Oh, I should do it this
Agnes
way.
Amisano. Hello. Yes. Not
You're
the other
not over
way.
there. My
I'm
co-host
Agnes
is.
Amisano. I'm a lot of things. Professional relationship coach, bereavement facilitator. So, and many
That's what
many
we're
more
gonna.
things.
That's what we're gonna put down there as your thing now. Instead of Agnes Amisano, we'll put Agnes a lot of
A
things. I'm
lot
a
of
lot of
things. Yes,
things. We'll just
yes.
add that down there. That's silly. You're so silly. But
Absolutely.
yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to join the conversation, just send us a little email here to mailback@lovedeathandtaxes.com. That's what this show is about, the conversations that we can have, will have with one another. I think um, this is morphing into something different, though, Agnes. I think I kind of like what it's happening. Like, we're just having conversations at this point. It's not even like, hey, let's stick to this or stick to that. I actually like the idea that we're kind of open and whatever. And if you like that idea or you think it sucks, please write to us at mailbag@loveandtaxes.com.
Because we do care what you think of us.
We do somewhat, to an extent, only to an extent. All right, Agnes, have a good weekend.
You too.
All
Bye.
right, all right.